What's going on, ladies and gents? You're in the man cave, and that can only mean that we are here live with you guys before a pay-per-view on a Sunday night. Battleground starts in about an hour and a half with the kickoff show, which we're going to discuss and talk about. Not too excited about that one, but we're going to talk about it nonetheless. And, of course, our esteemed panel will tell you who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose, what we expect to see come out of this as we leave Battleground tonight and head on the road to SummerSlam. This is Wrestling Warm-Up right here on WrestlingRumors.net. My name is Doug McDonald. I am the senior editor of the site. We have some others from the website joining us. Mr. Alex Bisong, who is the voiceless of the voiceless. Rarely hear anything from him, but when we do, it's perfectly awesome. And he is the silent guy as opposed to Ryback's the big guy, and he has a Ryback mark. If you love Ryback, you love Alex Bisong. So just make sure that
Thank you to all three fans.
You understand. Yeah, see, there you go. Of course, we have John Alba, who's just now deciding to Ryback tweet pantomime at you guys that are watching, you gals that are tuning in. Obviously, the homage to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat right there with beside John Alba's name. As we know, the Dragon was let go this week from his ever so amazing $10,000 a year Legends deal, which is always just a waste of time and money for the company. When you still have people on staff that are as terrible as your Alicia Foxes and your any other waste of a diva that you can throw out right now, like Eva Marie, that needs to be let go instead of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But the Dragon's not a Maxim model, so it doesn't work out that way. We're also joined by Patrick, who is a regular here on Wrestling Warm-Up, and, of course, Ed Call at JBL's Dragon joining us as well.
Ricky Steamboat could be a Maxim model.
Yeah, it's not, though.
Not too late for him.
He had a great head of hair back in the day.
I agree, but he also came out with his wife and kid, which is not Maxim model material. Maxim models, you got to have some perky tats and make sure that you are, slutty.
Not a family person.
As slutty as absolutely possible. But let's get to talking about Battleground. The kickoff show starts in an hour and a half at 7:30, and we have two kickoff matches now, which means one's going to be a complete utter waste. Let's be honest, they're both going to be a complete utter waste. And of course, when we're talking about our pay-per-views, we always have predictions to talk with you guys about, different things that we like to go through. We go through each match as the Wrestling Rumors crew with some guests. Of course, our guests this week were actually Patrick Fritz, who's joining us, and Brian Chichek of the MB Show gave us some guest predictions. Right now, Frank Manzo, who is not on the program this evening, is leading with 82% of his predictions right so far in 2014, followed by John Alba, Chris Walter, myself, Will Benson, Joe Omega, and Alex Bisong. We're starting off the kickoff show with Cameron versus Naomi, a match that no one wants to see, but we're going to see it anyway. Maybe they want to see it. E! Entertainment Television wants to see it because it's going straight to Total Divas Season 3. It's a waste. No, it really doesn't matter who wins this match. It doesn't. It's not going to elevate or lessen someone's career. Cameron's terrible in the ring. Naomi's pretty good in the ring. Neither are going anywhere. Naomi's not going to hold that Divas Championship anytime soon. Which before AJ Lee came back, we thought Naomi might have been the next in line. So this is something that's just going to hinder her. It's not going to advance anything. But we're kind of split 50-50 here with a match that doesn't matter because you can just flip a coin and say who cares. One of those matches where it's 50-50. Myself, I pick Naomi. Why? She's the better wrestler. She has more to offer in staying strong, in my opinion, as far as what it looks like in the Divas division. I think she's the face. She goes over, and their feud continues. Cameron stays pissed off and continues to come back at Naomi. Will Benson picked Cameron for the complete opposite reason. She's being built as a heel. He feels like she needs the victory to extend the feud. John Alba, you picked Naomi just like I did. You tell me why.
I mean, I really hope they realize how ridiculous they'd be being and having Cameron cleanly beat Naomi.
Right.
I think if Naomi does lose, it's because Alicia Fox makes some kind of appearance or gets involved. They've been teasing this Cameron Alicia Fox partnership, and then
weird female partners.
Yeah, I mean, and then, well, you know why they'd be.
Well, I do know why,
but I'm not going to go into that. But I mean, you know, Alicia Fox and Naomi could work a good match together, and that would be solid. But I mean, this really does mean.
Why not? Why don't you want to get into that? WWE fans give TNA so much crap for stealing WWE storylines. So you tell me why we can't talk about WWE doing something because TNA's doing it.
Well, I'm not referring in those ways. I'm just saying.
Well, I figured you could go that route and be safe. I didn't.
No,
I wasn't saying we had to play the race card or anything.
No, I mean that's the card that is playing. So I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm just gonna be real here.
Correct. You're right. Frick Manzo went the opposite of us and said that he feels like Cameron's the obvious pick because the same thing that Will was saying. I mean, she's the hill being built up and needs the victory. Chris Walter, he should be joining us very soon here on this program. Chris Walter picked Cameron for the same reasons as well.
I mean, it'd have to be a roll-up, right? Something.
It would have to be a roll-up. It can't be something that puts Cameron over strong. I mean, what's Cameron's finish anyway? A roll-up. So.
Hey, don't take Eva Marie's away from her.
I know. Well, that's what they both have the same finish. I mean, it's the same thing. Joe Omega picked the same thing. Cameron over here. Brian Chichak picked the same thing as well. Patrick, you picked Naomi. Why?
Just for the same reasons you said, Doug. I mean, she's the face. I think that she's the better, out of the Funkadactyl. She's been shown more prominently. She's the better, wrestler. And I think that this could lead into Total Divas Season 3. But just out of the two, I mean, I could see why they want to build Cameron up because, they need another heel behind Paige that's going to be as strong and featured because we don't know what's going on with Summer and Layla right now.
They're face.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can see it going either way, but I think Naomi picks it up here.
Alex, you pick Naomi.
Yeah, pretty much the same reasons. I couldn't care less, besides the fact that the better wrestler should win these matches. There's zero reason for Cameron to win unless you're building her up, so I honestly don't want her to win, so that's why I went with Naomi. Go with my heart and my head.
I got to say this. Cameron's not good in the ring. She's not. But she's gotten a lot better than where she started at, and I have to give her the credit for that.
You can give her credit for that. You can't give Eva Marie credit.
Well, exactly.
So that's why you give That's why you give Cameron some credit because she's getting better, and then you have those like Eva Marie that just get worse.
I mean, we heard the reports this past week they're saying it's not even X-Pac heat, it's Eva Marie heat.
Right,
I mean,
and that's awful.
Yeah.
Ed, you weren't a part of our predictions this month, or this pay-per-view, so tell us who you have in this match and why.
I have Naomi just because she's going to make it up to me for Money in the Bank.
Nah.
No, really, you guys have covered all the bases. I actually don't think they need to build another heel with Cameron right now because assuming they have Tamina possibly come back down the line, I think you're pretty...
She's a long way away.
She is a long way away, but I don't think that Cameron is the necessary surrogate in the meantime. She's not nearly where she needs to be in regards to building any sort of real heat. So I'm just going to take Naomi just based on the facts you guys already alluded to.
A lot of positive feedback for Sasha Banks, by the way, at the live events.
Yeah, and don't forget, like with Sasha Banks and Charlotte lying in the wayside, there's two heels right there.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pair up, if you're going to do Lay Cool version 2.0 with Summer Rae and
Summer Layla or Rayla, Summer Rayla. Yeah.
Summer Rayla, or whatever you want to call it. Summer Rae was part of the three-girl faction with the stable of BFFs with Sasha Banks and Charlotte. So you could honestly have Sasha Banks and Charlotte come up and be mad that Summer Rae's teaming up with this other girl, and then you have a heel versus face feud with the girls, two tag teams going at it with each other, and then you have another tag team of Alicia Fox and Cameron out of nowhere. And then, of course, if you're going to have another tag team, you could even do...
It ain't out of nowhere, Duggo.
Natalia and Naomi here, and there's all of your freaking Total Divas cast all together, working together. And then every now and then you can throw Eva Marie and Rosa Mendez in for bullcrap lost.
Peligrosa.
It's terrible.
And then within the next month, we get Divas Tag Team titles.
But talking about Summer Rae and Layla, we had a match literally added an hour ago to this card. Adam Rose with Summer Rae and Layla is what we've been teased on, via picture, via photograph. Adam Rose was taken, was photographed with Layla and Summer Rae in the arena, and of course posted that out to social media. And then of course you have Adam Rose is facing Fandango, who was not removed from the Battle Royal like Adam Rose was, and of course not like Damien Sandow was. Now, can we talk about the fact, who the hell did Damien Sandow piss off? Like, who? What happened? What happened? Why is Damien Sandow
Good question.
He's owning the gimmick. I'll give him whatever credit's due. He's owning the gimmick. He's going out and he's giving it 100% every single week. This past Monday night was terrible because that was just terrible. That was a terrible gimmick. That was a terrible segment. These live ad product spots are just god awful. The Twisted Tea win the week before with Santino and Adam Rose was bad. Adam Rose and Damien Sandow this past Monday night for the Sonic deal was terrible as well. But Damien Sandow, what the heck happened? Sandow and Rose removed when they accidentally had 22 people in the Battle Royal.
And it looked like they'd do a match between them two.
Correct. I mean, that was what we thought. And after what we saw on Raw, that's what you would think. So who did Sandow piss off? The fact that Fandango's pulling double duty. That makes me feel like here in this kickoff match, we're not going to get a match. And John, you had a very good theory as to what we're actually going to get. Yeah. And I would like for you to share that with people because I believe your theory is correct here. I don't think there's any other reason they would do this because they're not going to give. You're not going to get a 15-minute match out of these guys.
Yeah.
So I want you to give us your thought process here because I agree with you. And this is what I predict as well. This is what I think is going to happen.
We got the picture with Summer Rae and Layla with Fandango, and I mean, there's two ways they could go with it. The first way would be just simply put Summer Rae and Layla cost Fandango the match, or we get the debut of yet another Fandango girl, and Fandango, if that happens, please, this time, buddy, keep it safe, all right? Just make sure that none of this menage a trois crap, okay? Straightforward. Look, here's the deal. I think that they're going to go the way of putting someone else with Fandango, and you know what? Does it mean anything? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to overthink this, Doug, because there is no way they have put as much thought into this match as we just have.
No, there's not. But tell me why the hell it's even there. Why is it here? Why is it not Sandow? After teasing, after build for Adam Rose and Sandow, and they removed both Adam Rose and Sandow so that we have a 20-person battle royal, no odd number. Why are we now getting?
I don't know.
And considering the kind of talent that they have in this battle royal, it makes even less sense. I mean, who really has thought about the Great Khali, or even the guy from Los Luchadores in there? Who's really thinking about those guys right now?
You don't even know which one it is.
Diego,
you don't even know
maybe.
which Los Luchadores it is because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's not going to win the thing, so it doesn't matter.
So at least you get Sandow in there to provide some great spot work to start the match out.
Right,
I mean,
but he's not in it. He's going to come out dressed as somebody, and it's going to be some.
He might be the new Fandango girl.
He may be the new Fandango girl, and he may be Mickey Mouse. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's Tampa. It's not Orlando.
close enough.
Close to enough. Exactly right. I will keep my language PG. It's close enough for him to be Mickey Mouse. I'll tell you that right now. There's no point to this match. There's not. So it's not going to be a match. It's going to be something for them to show off Summer Rae and Layla with Adam Rose. Maybe we get a new Fandango girl. And if that's the case, Dango gets a win.
Yeah.
But if there's no new Fandango, Adam Rose wins. Whether and it's going to be literally, I wouldn't put this match past a minute, if that. minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Now, is this part of the free trial, this pay-per-view, or no?
No, free trial ended last Monday at midnight, or last Tuesday at 12 a.m. So
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm off the grid, so
there's no. Yeah, I know. There's no more free trial. Walter, you just joining us. What do you think about this whole addition to the kickoff show, which is just complete utter crap?
Yeah, man. The only reason this match is on the card is to showcase Summer Rae and Layla. They're obviously going to dance with Adam Rose. He's going to emerge victorious. I think we're looking too much into the whole Fandango's going to debut a new chick thing.
Could happen
at this point, it's more than likely going to happen on Raw. The only person that I could think that would fall into that category is if you put maybe Cameron.
Yes, no, Ric Flair. It was Ric Flair.
It's Ric Flair.
It was Ric Flair.
It's Ric Flair dancing with the Fandango.
Can you imagine Flair and Fandango?
I like this.
Flair Dango. It'll be.
I like this Fandango.
I can't wait.
So yeah, that's my explanation about this worthless match. Sorry, Damian Sandow. I don't know what's up with you, buddy, but you just seem to be going lower down the food chain.
We have to hold that optimism that he's getting Triple H, but there's no reason for us to believe that he's actually getting Triple H right now.
This is all leading to
what's going on with him and what happened with Triple H. There's a complete, total difference between what's happening with.
They're humiliating him.
And then he's going to snap, and then he's going to face Hunter at WrestleMania. That's the big
Roman Reigns versus Undertaker versus Sandow.
Yep, and
the streak begins again.
The losing streak continues is what happens. Well, since we're talking about the IC Battle Royal, which it could be the first match on the card. Who knows? We have 20. There's 20 guys in this thing. More than half. Probably 3/4 are waste characters that aren't even possibilities. And then you have your 4 that actually make any kind of sense. Are Sheamus, Bo Dallas, Miz, and Cesaro. You could say Big E, but no, you can't. So let's.
You can say Ryback.
So no, you can't. You can't. Let's literally think about what we're doing here with what our predictions were. I was very surprised to see how many people picked Bo Dallas. This is extremely awesome to me.
Surprise is the wrong word. You were very excited that other people picked Bo
Dallas.
Dallas.
I mean, I don't know how else to say. If you put the IC, they're worried about how the IC title can affect some people. Obviously, because of how it's affected a lot of people already. With Bo Dallas, it doesn't have to because he is already a poking fun character who doesn't take everything, who takes everything so seriously but not seriously. You get what I'm saying? And the fact that he has an undefeated streak means this belt it could honestly elevate the belt more than the belt.
Very much.
More than the belt hurt him. If this undefeated streak keeps going and going and going for a while, it could elevate the belt. And yes, the belt should never make the man. The man should make the belt. So Bo Dallas, give him the strap and make him work. Believe that he can do it. I totally think that he can. He's 16 and Bo. What do we got here? We got a Goldberg situation on our hands.
I mean, I've got Bo Dallas as well. I put a lot of thought into this, and my number 2 guy right now is Miz, and it's for this reason. Not even the fact that he's been built up in the way that he has. We've got this whole moneymaker thing, this whole Hollywood thing. Where's SummerSlam? It's in Hollywood. And right. if they wanted to do Sheamus versus Miz in a unification match at SummerSlam, Miz in a meaningful match, that's the perfect way to do it. But I think Bo Dallas is the way to go, and I think you can do a lot of fun, creative things with it. And it would mean, because they wouldn't have his first loss be a non-title loss, it would mean his first loss would be him losing the title, which, as we suggested with Money in the Bank last time, that flicks the switch on Bo Dallas right there.
Instantly.
So I think that's a cool way to go with it.
Not only John and myself, Joe Omega, Patrick Fritz, who just bounced out of our show, Brian Chichak, Frank Manzo, we all picked the Boaster, and rightly so, I do believe. I think it's a great plan. I don't see why not. I think it's perfect to give him something. But Alex and Walter, y'all pick different people, even different people than each other. So, Walter, why don't you tell us who you picked in this Battle Royal to come out?
Yeah, I'm going with Cesaro for a couple of reasons. For one, he just had a new T-shirt came out that says Battle Royalty on it. So you can't have Battle Royalty if you win one of them. You have to win multiple, so you can brag about that. But I mean, we've all seen the reports about like how Paul Heyman is going to go off and do the Brock Lesnar thing. I still think we're going to see some sort of interaction with Cesaro and Heyman in the next couple of months. But if that is the case and Heyman is done with Cesaro for good, he's too talented to just kind of like leave and waiting until you want to use him to have that massive face push.
Well, that's what they want to do.
I think it's a perfect time to just put the Intercontinental title on him, give him something to do. Unless we forget, at the end of this thing, Bad News Barrett is going to be handing the belt off to the winner. And again, we don't know if the titles are going to be unified at SummerSlam. It's a great idea, but we don't know that for a fact. And I think you could tease and Bad News Barrett. Who knows how long he's going to be out? But you could tease Cesaro Bad News Barrett feud. I just think Cesaro. People are underestimating his chances in this thing.
I'll tell you this because I honestly had to pick between who I want to win and who I actually think is going to win. I still in my brain really think that Cesaro is winning this thing. I said Cesaro from day one. I just finally said I am going with Bo Dallas because that's who I want to win this thing. Because I really just think that they can do so much with him. And that's hurt me in predictions in the past, and it's going to continue to hurt me. But I like making predictions like that because I want people to know that I care, and I want what's best for business, not just the obvious pick. Cesaro seems obvious, just the T-shirt's out. There's more money to be made with a Bad News Barrett and Cesaro feud going forward. It's one of those things where I understand that. I agree completely. But I just really think Bo Dallas can do more with it right now.
With the way Cesaro was booked up until the last 2 weeks, I totally agreed and thought it was a shoo-in that Cesaro. When this thing was announced, we're like, it's Cesaro, it's no one else, it's definitely Cesaro. But the way he's been booked the past few weeks, and I don't think it's just one of those cases, let's put doubt in their mind. Because there's more creative ways that you can do that. I'm worried about what's going on with Cesaro right now, and I expressed that to you guys. I think Cesaro's in a very dangerous position right now because someone at the top of the ladder is just not getting it.
Yeah.
Well, if Bo Dallas wins this thing and Barrett does hand the belt to him, he's going to lay out Dallas. That's a fact. And if Dallas just wins the IC title and the first thing he does, he cheers and he gets hit in the face with an elbow, what does that really accomplish?
He can't use his elbow.
Or something, he kicks his ass. That's true. He has 2 arms, damn it.
But it would be awesome. But it would be awesome, honestly, to see Bo Dallas, give Bad News Barrett a pep talk about coming back soon, kind of like what he did with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And of course, Bad News Barrett. What if Bo Dallas's first loss is to Bad News Barrett in 6 months when he comes back at say Royal Rumble or WrestleMania? And you want to talk about elevating that title back up? You keep it on Bo Dallas from now until WrestleMania 31, and then you have the return match. Bad News Barrett, Bo Dallas for the Intercontinental Championship match. You keep playing all these snippets of them talking to each other, talking this up tonight. Their interaction in the ring tonight. I'm telling you, if it's long-term booking, that's the way to go. Alex Bisong had a different opinion. Alex Bisong went with the trolleration pick from the commentators on WWE as of late, talking about Sheamus wanting to unify the titles in one single solitary swoop, and you picked Sheamus.
Yes, I think they should do it at Battleground. A unification match at SummerSlam is money, but we have so many matches to look forward there already that I think they should just get it over with now, have Sheamus win the Battle Royal, he can unify the titles next night on Monday Night Raw, and then he can go up against you have a lot of people that he could then drop the belt to at SummerSlam that finally have the IC and US title actually mean something, whether it's Cesaro, Miz. Probably wouldn't drop to the Miz, but you could have Cesaro or even Rusev if he's still a character now. But I do think they have to unify the titles tonight, and then that belt will actually mean something going into SummerSlam.
See, and I don't hate it. I've been saying, even when, people like Frank Manzo, Joe Omega have been saying they don't want the titles unified, I want the titles unified. It helps bring the prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship if you only have one mid-card title, and people are actually wanting it and trying to fight for it. For me, it's one of those things where I think we're going to see a unification. I just think there's more money in a match, and there's more money in SummerSlam. If they're going to be trying to build SummerSlam and Night of Champions as monster cards to get people to subscribe to the network, then you don't do it on Battleground. That's just my opinion. No. It's easy. It's easy because all you have to do is put the title on Sheamus, and then he can just combine them.
SummerSlam's going to be booked to the top, though. You already have like 3 main events there already.
Night of Champions may be booked better than SummerSlam.
I'm about to say, Night of Champions might wind up being better.
What's wrong with stacking the card, though, from 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock, though?
I say stack it. They got to do. I mean, Night of Champions is said to be, it's going to be booked like a WrestleMania.
As it should be. It's Night of Champions. It's about champions.
I know. Every title should be up for grabs, and every title should be defended. There is no better pay-per-view as far as name goes.
Right. It sounds like a name-level pay-per-view.
Yeah. So.
Chances are they'll maybe even debut the new belts at that pay-per-view, too.
Correct. So that would mean, it would need to be unified, or they should have the unified title sitting out on the pedestal like they've had that stupid IC title on the cheapest looking felt, the cheapest looking velvet on that table out by the commentary table.
It's cashmere.
Worst
cashmere.
I would drape myself in velvet if it was socially acceptable. Let's dance that. Let's move on to the tag team title match. We have the Usos. You say Oos, I say oh, Oos.
You say no.
You say Bruce, I say oh, Bruce, oh. Swerve.
Swerve. Hashtag swerve. So we have Usos versus the Wyatt family, 2 out of 3 falls match. And the one, I'm sorry, we have 2 guys actually. Brian's not part of our show, but Brian's part of the NB show, which you can listen to on YouTube. Find them at the NB show on Twitter. They're actually part of the Wrestling Rumors family. You can watch their show. They actually have some interviews with some pretty big name people. It's pretty awesome. They're out of Pittsburgh. Brian picks the Usos. So does Christopher Walter, who has stepped away. And when he comes back, I will let him explain why he picks the Usos, even though I can probably explain it for him. And it's one of those things where I waffled back and forth on who I thought was going to win this match. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. The Wyatt family can lose every match, every pay-per-view match, and win and dominate on live TV every single week and still look strong. And they never have to carry a title. And they never have to be those guys that win titles on pay-per-views. So I understand why the Wyatts don't have to win here. However, all of us but Chris Walter from Wrestling Rumors picked the Wyatt family. And Alex, I'm going to start with you. You tell me why you think the Wyatt family wins in this 2 out of 3 falls match.
I mean, like you said, if the Wyatts losing doesn't hurt them that much, but at the same time, I really thought the 2 should have had the titles at Money in the Bank, but now you're at a point at Battleground where if you put the titles on them now, you can easily have the Usos face off against them in a rematch at SummerSlam, maybe throw in another team there. But I think it is time for those 2 to get the titles here at Battleground and just go forward from them and possibly have Bray Wyatt. They haven't been with Wyatt as much as they have been in the past, but have him back up with them now because he might lose to Jericho tonight and have those 3 become a more dominant force in WWE.
John, you picked them as well. You tell me why.
If the Wyatts didn't exist, I would probably have a perfect record in predicting these things because I swear most of my misses are on Wyatt matches, whether it's Bray or the family, just because, like you said, Doug, they really, in theory, could be booked to never win a big match and be totally okay.
Yep.
And that's what makes this so hard. And the way I initially saw this was, the Usos make the rally on this. I mean, these 2 out of 3 falls matches are perfect for that big rally at the end. But maybe they make the big rally, and then all of a sudden a freaking big boot from, Harper just cans it. The Usos have been tag champions since February. I mean, it's been a long time, and they've done a great job. They haven't been given the best feuds, but they've still done a great job with it. And let's mix things up a little bit. Let's put it on these guys who, I'll tell you what, I'll sign up for Luke Harper promo any day. So
yeah, and I have to agree. I mean, one of the main reasons that I think it's just time. I think time for a little mix up. Give the Usos somebody to chase. Going into SummerSlam, have an epic tag team match at SummerSlam. I know they were talking about wanting to do a triple threat match at some point with the Dust Brothers, the Wyatt family, and the Usos, which would be pretty sick. They're wanting to do this big match, and I think that to get us there, get the Usos to chase. I mean, we've already seen the Usos go over the Wyatts clean at the last pay-per-view. So, in my opinion, if you're gonna keep it going, man, give the Wyatts the titles.
It would be a great match.
Again, I'm saying, as I understand why Brian and Walter picked the Usos. I'm going to let Walter explain even more why he picked the Usos here in a second. But I understand why, because, and just like you said, like I mentioned earlier, the Wyatts can lose every single pay-per-view match ever and still do exactly what they're doing on TV and be monsters.
Can we count how many suicide dives are in this match?
4.
At least
they'll prove my article right away.
At least 4. At least 4. But Walter picks the Usos again. He's sticking with the Usos, and it's not a bad pick. I waffle back and forth on this over and over again. But I'm gonna just because I think it's time for a change, even though I'm probably wrong. I went with the Wyatt family, but Walter, Usos, why?
Because if the Wyatt family wins tonight, that means this feud with the Usos is going to continue, which I'm kind of waffling on just because we've seen enough out of these teams to last a lifetime at this point. And I feel like it's easier to throw a heel team at the Usos than it is to throw a face team at the Wyatts. I mean, you still have Stardust and Goldust, but I don't know how much you can really get out of a Wyatt family versus Dust Brothers feud at this point. I also feel that it would be weird if in the Wyatt family, Harper and Rowan have gold and Bray Wyatt doesn't. I know that was the case in NXT. I just think now that we're on the main roster, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I still believe that we're going to be seeing the Ascension sooner rather than later, and I think they're the team that takes the belt off the Usos.
Interesting theory. Ed, what you think?
I'm going with the Wyatts. With the Usos and the Wyatts, or at least with the Wyatts, I think to myself, if not now, then when? They gotta pull the trigger on at least some part of that family with some gold. See how they look as the defenders at some respect. So I think that you test it out right now with Rowan and Harper. And, Chris, you are right with the Ascension coming up. They could be a great feud with the Usos for the belts. But I think for right now, in the meantime, you definitely try something new. See how good they look with the gold on their shoulders, turning these promos, especially with Harper. I think that the Usos, you did squeeze a lot out of them right now, and you did turn a lot of crap into gold with these guys. So I think that they should be given a standing O, but I think it's time to pass the torch.
They're still extremely over, lest we forget. I mean, I've been outspoken about my dislike for these guys, but they are super over.
The Usos they just keep getting over. Like they're just getting hotter and hotter right now. This is not
showing personality, and people like that.
Correct, and that's why I think they can become even bigger if they chase for a little bit.
I don't think so, man. I think the Usos need the titles. The Wyatt family, they don't need any titles ever.
Ever? No, I agree. I truly think they don't ever need them. But I think it could help to have the Usos chase for a little bit.
Here's my problem with the idea of I think it was either Doug or Chris brought up the idea of the Dust Brothers with the Usos. Do you really see that as something that can pan out for even a month or so? I mean, it just doesn't feel like the chemistry could be there to get you through the TV weeks. I mean, the matches could be fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I think just the build-up. I think that there's an X factor missing between the two of them. There's two teams.
That was Walter. That was Walter saying,
okay.
The only people for what did you say? The only people for the Wyatts would be the
either that or you continue with the Usos. But
right.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Usos.
But I think that that's not a bad idea. And there have been the reports that they want a big triple threat tag team match here, even though they got rid of Teddy Long. They're wanting to do this kind of thing.
And I still feel like if the Usos, not to mean to cut you off or anything,
No,
but
you're good.
I feel like if the Usos beat the Wyatt family and everyone's going to be shaking their head, oh, they screwed over Harper and Rowan again. Later in the night when we talk, we're going to talk about Jericho versus Bray Wyatt. If Harper and Rowan make an appearance there, no one is going to remember that they lost to the Usos. They're just going to remember that they interfered in the Jericho match.
And again, that's the beauty of monster characters such as these. They can lose as many times as they want, and it's not going to matter. It's not.
Exactly. I just think they wanted to prolong the feud because there's nothing else to do with the Usos at this point. Like, the tag team division is just so depleted that, you know what, we have nothing to do with Harper and Rowan. They're too talented, the Usos. Let's make them 2 out of 3 falls, because the match they had at Money in the Bank was arguably the best of the night.
I agree.
Do you think that they try to push Big E and Kofi into something? Just try to merge those two together and see what happens? I mean,
Why
honestly,
would they ever team them together?
They teamed Monday, and
I know. Why would they ever team together? Is my question.
I'm not saying it's a good reason why.
Because
You got a big guy and a high flyer, obviously.
yeah, it's because of the strength
That's why?
and the aerials.
What went into the right axle logic? There's your other thing.
It's flying right over Ed's head right
Right
now.
axle.
It is, yeah.
It is so far from my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One has a lion on his outfit, and the other one was from Jamaica originally. It makes sense.
It writes itself.
Of course, we're gonna get Wyatt family and Big E and Kofi. There's a name there somewhere.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I would love to see.
Big Kofi.
I would love to see Harper and Big E go at it. I think that'd be a really cool match.
I'm telling you, Kofi and Big E's not a bad tag team.
Yeah.
They worked well together Monday.
The epitome of we have nothing else to do for you guys. So sure, let's just pair you up.
Lump these black guys together.
You know what? The crowd still loves Kofi. Kofi had one of the biggest pops of the night at Money in the Bank when he flipped Rollins and was right about to grab that briefcase.
He did. But no one. Literally, I think what I typed when I was live tweeting Money in the Bank was, and here's the moment where everyone goes, nope, not gonna happen.
Hey, you know what? People said that when Sandow was climbing the ladder too.
Everybody.
Kofi was damn close though.
You saw what happened. No one. That's the thing. It's one of those things where, if you want to screw everybody's brackets up, you want to screw everybody's predictions up, you give Kofi Kingston the briefcase. But you know damn well you're never going to do anything with it.
You really want to rib the IWC, you give Kofi the briefcase.
Oh, my God. That would be ridiculous. Moving on to the Divas Championship, every single one of us picked AJ Lee. It's just an opinion on whether or not she wins with the Black Widow or via pinfall. And almost all of us actually picked via pinfall. Because it's this feud going with Paige, and to make Paige submit right now would be kind of, in my opinion, weak on Paige's part. But Brian Chichek and Patrick Fritz, they believe it's submission, and so does Will Benson, our resident Brit, says submission as well. But the rest of us think pinfall, and I have to think it's something hot like a roll up that really makes Paige snap.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean. Big night for Paige. Paige really has to impress tonight.
Yeah, she has to let her guard down, become the heel that she was in NXT.
She has to put a good match on. She
can
has to
do
put
it.
a good match on, and she can do it. We know she can do it.
We know she
has
can do it. Yes, and the fact that the girl is super aggressive, it's time to let the hair down, and it's time to be an aggressive bitch character.
This feud definitely runs through SummerSlam.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
They should have waited till SummerSlam.
That's why it should be a pinfall, just to push.
Right, and we're talking about what these matches, these feuds starting at Battleground. A lot of them likely could be the 3 pay-per-view programs, and you could see this one going to Night of Champions. They're the 2 biggest divas in the company.
They haven't even been
the 2 best workers. So
they haven't even been feuding right now.
Right, they're friends as of right now. So frenemies, correct. So we'll see what happens with that. Now we got to talk about some other stuff. Yes, some tragic stuff happened this past weekend with a Malaysian flight getting shot down with a rocket that was that is believed to be was supplied by Russia to Russian separatists, Russian rebels, and they were in the Ukraine and shot the plane down over the Ukraine. They actually now believe that this is probably what happened to the Malaysian flight that went down earlier in the year. They still have never recovered. They know that these guys, these Russian separatists, these rebels, if you will, as they've been called, on in various forms of media, they've stolen the black boxes from the planes and made their way back over into Russia, is what people are believing, including our commander-in-chief, who is demanding answers, and we could get launched into some sort of crazy-ass war in the next few months if this thing doesn't get resolved. And that brings us to Mother Russia and Vladimir Putin, who has been on the Titantron for the last 6 weeks of WWE programming, backing the Lana and Rusev push as a big heel. And as you know, Alexander Rusev got his name shortened so that he would be more like Ivan Drago, getting his name shortened to Drago. And that was the whole everybody's got to have a shorter name thing that Vince went on. Antonio Cesaro had to become Cesaro. Big E Langston had to become Big E. Rusev had to become Rusev. But one of those things where he also switched from being the Bulgarian Brute to being the Bulgarian Brute who now resides in Russia. He got the medal of what's it called? What was it? The medal of
honor.
The medal of whatever. It's something different. It's the medal of something from Russia for being such an amazing athlete, and one of those things where they're pushing the Russia thing, they're pushing the Russia versus America thing, the good old-fashioned Rocky IV, Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, Nikolai Volkov, those awesome big USA versus Russia feuds that used to happen during the Cold War started again, and back then, and it has been, and it's surprising because they've tried to do that with multiple different nationalities, and it just hasn't worked over the years. Even when 9/11 happened, and we had a lot of Americans really, confused and angry towards Arab nationality guys and Muslims, and every American was lumping Islam and Muslims and all these Muslims and Islams, all these foreigners. Down here in the South especially, I heard it all the time. If you're brown, you're all the same, was the kind of thought process around me, which really made me angry. If I grow my beard out, I can look extremely foreign, and got asked many of times whether or not I was American. So one of those things where there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And of course you got the good old the good old-fashioned Muhammad Hassan and Hulk Hogan run-in, all that bull crap that we got back in 2005, 2006, just didn't really work. But it was working now. It was working this time with Putin and Rusev and Lana. Lana's hot. That's probably one of the reasons it was working. She's still super hot. But she's from Florida and has a real southern accent in real life. It's one of those things where now that this stuff has happened, there's rumors that Vince is going to pull the plug on the whole Russian versus American angle going forward, or he's at least going to dial it back. And for me, my thing is, don't stop the whole. I honestly, what fueled those, German versus American wrestlers in the 30s and 40s was that we were seriously in war. I mean, if you go back and you look at people like Fritz von Erich, who took on this Nazi German character to be the biggest heel ever, and had to watch his back because people seriously wanted to kill him. One of those things where the wrestling business reflected the world, and it got big at that time. And Fritz von Erich was one of the biggest characters ever, and he was a German Nazi character. Okay, and then fast forward to the Cold War. And Nikolai Volkov, all these different characters like that. You had a bunch of Russian characters, and Boris Koloff. Like you had these guys who were facing guys like Hulk Hogan, and the big patriotic fights that went down. It got turned up because of the Cold War. Think about when Sergeant Slaughter turned heel and teamed with, of course, he wasn't called the Iron Sheik at the time, but he was with the Iron Sheik, and we had Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, and that was huge. And Sergeant Slaughter was the most despised guy on the planet because he joined forces with Iraq when we started Desert Storm, the first Desert Storm. The fact that he was worshiping Saddam Hussein during that time really made people want to kill Sergeant Slaughter. These guys, the only thing that I can think of is that Vince is worried about Rusev's health. Worried about if the media is going to say WWE is just they're pushing the envelope too much because this isn't sensitive. It's not PC enough for them to be pushing the envelope with this Russian character versus American character. It's one of those things where I really think Vince is just scared and he's going to turn down the volume when he should be freaking cranking it up.
I don't know.
If it was the Attitude Era, or the 1980s, they would crank it up.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about this. I mean, we're also not talking about 2 people being killed here, 3 people being killed, and as horrible as it sounds, because any loss of life is a tragedy. But I mean, we're also talking about 300 people being killed in this thing.
Okay, how many people died in 9/11? And they tried to exploit that.
They exploited it years later, not right away. I mean, the Muhammad Hassan stuff didn't come along until 4 years after 9/11.
Right, but it still was completely.
And once the London bombings happened, he was pulled immediately. They pulled the plug on all that immediately without hesitation. They had literally, if you recall, they filmed that huge angle with the Undertaker on SmackDown with the mass terrorist coming and basically taking him. They just pulled the plug on the Hassan character right away. I don't think they would do that with Russo. I don't think they'd pull the plug on the entire character, especially since they've invested so much in him. But, I mean, we may see significant changes, which it really has seemed over the past year that timing has just killed this company with booking.
And that's very true. I mean, not only booking, but I mean, as far as character-wise, but
that's what I'm saying. The characters, the characters just can't get booked in the ways that they want. I mean, Bryan was getting booked on this massive run, and then he gone. Barrett gone.
Well, that wasn't a character issue. Those were injuries.
Well, no,
I'm saying timing though.
Just bad coincidences.
And that happens. I mean, you look at that kind of thing and you go, okay, then it's time to pull trigger on new stars, and try to build people without using racial and political stances.
It just sucks because, like you said, Doug, it was a very old school. It was a very old school program, and it was cool. And I still
think if they just stop promoting Putin.
Yeah, they may be able to get away with it.
If you can turn that part off.
America's inferior.
Yes.
Without actually involving any of the country.
He's from Bulgaria for real. I mean, this is not a gimmick as far as where he's from.
Got a tattoo.
He's literally Bulgarian. So, let him still be the Bulgarian brute, still have the same, mantra when he comes out, still have Lana, still do exactly what they're doing, but just stop the whole Putin thing.
Yeah. The good thing is that they haven't actually put him into a situation where he is considered a top-tier wrestler right now. So I think that they could still dial it back without causing too much of a contradiction, or at least drawing too much of a contradiction in his booking. I mean, right now his biggest feud is Jack Swagger, and no disrespect because of the recent positives we're getting, but we're not really thinking, you know what, that's going to change perception of a pay-per-view if he's not considered the Russian, whatever. My problem with this whole thing is, if I were them, I would dial it back, but I just wonder, considering the cutbacks with this company and the issues that they've had, if I can make him a little more gun-shy compared to I'm tenuous because of that.
I mean, I would more so flip this as not as much pro-Russian as it has been, where a lot has been like, go Russia, go Russia. It make it more anti-American.
Yeah, correct. That's what we're talking about.
Pro-Russia.
So, we're talking about
match-wise.
Right. I mean, it's not going to matter wrestling style-wise. It's not going to matter push-wise. It's just going to be a difference in character. And we see how we'll see how far that difference goes. I mean,
tonight should be fun to see what they try pulling out with this.
Lana's not a wrestler. She is a valet. She is not a wrestler. So, she's got this pretty decent Russian accent she can use. She's a decent actress. She's from Florida. If you don't know that, you need to just Google some pics.
Turn safe search on.
I didn't recommend that. That was all John Albin. That didn't come out of my mouth.
I'm the one who tossed a condom before. So.
But CJ Perry is her name. So go ahead and check that out. But we have some predictions for this. Honestly, all of us except for Patrick, who has to come in and tell me what he's thinking here. I see the DQ, which I can deal with. But Will Benson has Jack Swagger going over via pinfall. And myself, I mean, it's coming. It's going to happen.
Not via pinfall.
But for me, no. I'm not saying it's coming tonight. I'm saying it's coming later on. Let me finish. It's one of those things where Jack Swagger's going to go over. It's just not going to be tonight. The money comes from them having this match again, with Jack Swagger having something to fight for. And when he conquers Rusev in Russia, he does it for USA. If they wanted to pull the trigger and say that he conquers Russia because of this whole freaking incident that happened, then I could see him winning tonight. And Will Benson gets a freaking freebie because somebody shot a rocket off. But if not, Patrick, you tell me why you have Jack Swagger going over here via disqualification.
I just think there is a situation in this match where Rusev at some point overpowers Swagger and either maybe grabs, if he has the Russian flag, maybe grabs the Russian flag and knocks either Coulter or Swagger with it. The ref sees it and immediately calls it off.
Well, it's got to be Swagger that he hits. They're not going to care if Coulter's
hit. Right.
There's a few things you can do here, and a great way to give purpose for Swagger is to have Coulter just get beat the crap up. And that really is a good way to go with it. The way I posted to you guys earlier, and they kind of planted the seeds with Big E, was that no one's breaking the Accolade, that people are coming close, but they can't actually do it, kind of like what they did with the Master Lock. I would have Swagger come real close today to breaking the Accolade, and then have him just fall to it, and that be what you build off for SummerSlam when he actually breaks the Accolade.
But who's going to believe this shit that Big E can't break out the Accolade, but Jack Swagger can? Why? Because he's got USA champ behind him?
Yes, because
That's
America.
Bull.
Because
Bull.
America.
Because America? Not having it. He's not Hulk Hogan. Jack Swagger's not Hulk Hogan. If he falls to the Accolade once, he's not going to come out of it the next time.
No, cheap Coulter heat would be the best way to go with it.
Which is exactly what I picked. I think that Lana and or Rusev go and attack Coulter, which either gives the distraction enough for Rusev to take over, or it just makes Jack Swagger have to go out and tend to Coulter, and it's a count out. I actually picked Rusev via count out. Jack Swagger has to go 10 to Coulter on the outside.
And that's good booking.
I think that it does, and because honestly, I'm thinking Rocky IV, and if these writers are who I think they are, that's writing this bullcrap, because I do know some people on that daggum staff. If it's who I think they are, that's what they're thinking too. And Jack Swagger, being Rocky here, needs someone to fight for. Apollo Creed was murdered, and again, I'm not saying that Big E should come out and get destroyed and killed on. It could be Big E since he was with him last time, but Big E's not connected.
Maybe that's what Damian Sandoz
did. Big E's not connected to Jack Swagger. So who is Zeb Coulter? So you have Zeb Coulter get destroyed, and that gives us something for Jack Swagger.
I've heard the double count out theory too, where they just both beat the crap out of each other, which could happen. They're both brawlers. It could happen. Right. So
they could easily get on the outside and just keep going and we get count outs, but I want to see what else other people picked here. John, you have Rusev via the Accolade. Frank Manzo has Rusev via pinfall, which is
we haven't seen him pin anyone.
We haven't seen him pin anybody.
I have a theory on that.
But man, I know you do. We're gonna get to you. Maybe it's the same theory that Frank has. Chris Walter has Rusev via submission. And then Joe Omega and Frank Manzo and Alex B. Song have Rusev via pinfall. Go ahead and share with us, Alex, why you think it's going to be pinfall.
Well, I don't know
never
if this is
seen
any
that
good or not, but this is how I would book it. I'd have at one point, instead of having Swagger break out of the Accolade or just come close to actually breaking out, I'd have him put the Patriot Lock on Rusev at one point in the match, and then you have Lana possibly go after Coulter or have something along the lines of Coulter getting injured that makes Swagger break the hold. Rusev can then overpower the match from then on or even roll him up and get the victory that way.
No way Rusev is rolling up Swagger.
Yeah.
For
Well, not
No
a
way.
roll-up, but just
Yeah.
afterwards he overpowers him and wins the match.
I mean,
If he overpowers him, he's kicking him in the back and doing the Accolade. That's just my opinion. You and Joe and obviously our pinfall submission stuff only matters between us to say, haha, you were wrong. Because if Rusev wins, you still get a point, so that doesn't really matter. But the funny thing is, it's one of those things where where you have like AJ Lee, where it's submission or pinfall, it's either or. I don't ever see Rusev pinning anybody.
yeah.
Not the way they've booked him so far. Not the way they've booked him so far.
He should. I mean, he's a huge guy. It would make sense for him to pin someone because you're not getting up from that. But at the same time, we haven't seen it.
I have to say this, and it makes I like Rusev a lot. He's agile for a big guy. He's
Great
kind
kicks.
of my build, and I'm a little bit chubbier than he is, but we like he's got the tree trunk legs. We're kind of similar when I look at the screen. My wife.
You want to be
goes,
Rusev?
Are you going to be his tag team partner?
It would be awesome. I would definitely go out there and act like I was Russian for that. One of those things where I like Rusev a lot. He's agile for a big dude. He's what Samoa Joe should be in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like that big guy that's just being awesome. Like Samoa Joe 2004 kind of thing. But I like Rusev a lot, and I have to say the camel clutch. How many people have we seen use the camel clutch? So many people have used that freaking camel clutch since the Iron Sheik. But I have to say that Rusev, just by throwing that kick to the small of the back, makes it look so much more brutal than it actually is, and I love every minute of it.
I mean, he locks it.
I don't want to see any pinfalls from this guy. I want to see him every time kick the crap out of someone in the small of their back, and that guy's, if you can sell it like RVD sells everything, then it's going to look amazing. So kick him in the back super hard, slap on the camel clutch. Scott Steiner might have put on the most puss Steiner recliner, camel clutch, whatever you want to call it, ever. And I think that you get Rusev actually showing you what it's supposed to look like, and I enjoy it. And I think that it's either a count out or Rusev gets the submission victory tonight. But if it's my opinion, you let Zeb Coulter get the crap kicked out of him and give Swagger something to fight for moving forward. If that doesn't happen, if they double count out, then I expect Coulter to be destroyed at some point on Raw or SmackDown. Swagger has to have more than just USA. It's got to get personal. Moving on, because the kickoff starts in 30 minutes. We've got a couple more matches to talk about. Let's talk about this one, Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt. We're all over the map on this thing, with Bray Wyatt getting the most picks. But let's talk about it. I waffle back and forth on this, and I just went with what my gut says. And now I honestly hate the fact that I picked this. But I picked Chris Jericho via DQ. I don't know why. I didn't pick anything else by DQ on the show. I thought maybe this is where a DQ comes in. I don't know why I did. I just did it. I don't have any other explanation than that either. Then there's not a DQ. I don't have a DQ picked on the show anywhere else. So I thought the Wyatts could come in and take him out, and it not, and the refs see it and they're in a DQ finish, and it's not clean. That takes us to another. We get two other Jericho Wyatt matches. So Chris Jericho via DQ is what I have. John Alba, you have Chris Jericho, but you have Chris Jericho via pinfall. You,
Yep.
Alex B. Song, both are the only other two people that picked Chris Jericho like I did. But y'all picked it through legitimate means, going over clean.
Yep.
So, John, you tell me why you picked him by pinfall, and then we'll talk about Alex B. Song picking him up.
Well, part of it has to do with the booking of the feud. I don't want to see them trading wins like what we had with Cena. I want and this was my biggest complaint about Jericho in the first place, we have to take him seriously at some point. He has to actually win something. Okay, so if Bray Wyatt's going to get the rub, and I understand, Jericho, 9-time champion or whatever the hell he is, that does enough. We haven't seen Jericho win a legitimate match in a very long time, and he has to win something, and this is where Jericho's moveset works perfectly, because the Codebreaker can come out of nowhere, and it can just put Wyatt away real quick.
Vintage Jericho!
Right. It can put him away real. I don't want to see a submission here. I think it would be a big, big mistake to see Wyatt tap out, and I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think we'll ever see Wyatt tap out.
Exactly, and I don't think they're going to do that. Codebreaker, give him the win. Wyatt, I want some more. Come on, keep going. We get the SummerSlam match. Wyatt goes over. Night of Champions. Wyatt finishes him off. That's the end of Jericho for this one.
Beast Long.
Yep, John basically hit the nail on the head here. I was kind of 50-50 on this, but the more I was thinking about it, Jericho needs a big win just besides beating Miz on Monday Night Raw. If he gets over him here, you can push it to SummerSlam, have Wyatt go over there, and then continue the feud the Night of Champions.
Exactly.
So,
Wyatt could control 15 minutes of this match as long as Jericho controls the 16th minute.
I don't see it that way. I think it's got to be Wyatt goes over or Jericho gets the DQ victory. And everybody else picked Bray Wyatt to go over. So, Patrick, you picked Bray Wyatt. Tell me why.
I just think that, to me, it makes more sense because I think if you want to push this to a SummerSlam match, you want to have Jericho after, Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt has to win here. It just makes more. To me, it makes more sense. I mean, this is gonna be a match, probably high candidate for match of the night. Just for me, I think just the way Bray Wyatt's going right now, if you want him to pick up more steam, he doesn't have to get back into like the main event, back into the title picture again like he was in the Money in the Bank, but bouncing off of Jericho, using him as a springboard to get more momentum is never a bad thing.
Ed, who do you have going over here?
I'm taking Bray, but I mean, I don't know. It's like this feud can definitely stretch. I kind of hope Jericho does take it, though, because we've seen him having a hard time getting out of starting blocks with these return feuds. The Ziggler feud comes to mind. But Bray, he's got to sustain some momentum, and it's very easy to give Jericho a win on a B pay-per-view, but I think that building up it's more important. The DQ idea. I think the fact that you've seen Wyatt interrupting so much, it's less likely to be seen. But I can't see possibly Rowan Harper getting involved towards the end.
Let me throw this out there, though. If Jericho loses tonight, we all agree, first off, we all agree we're going to get multiple of these matches, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if Jericho loses tonight, that would mean that Jericho, in order to get another match with Wyatt, would have to be the hunter. And don't you think that's a little weird, Jericho hunting down Wyatt? The second time.
I think Jericho has the personality to manipulate promos.
Manipulation, yes, but with Wyatt, of all people, why would he want to go back for more? To me, that just doesn't make sense.
Because
here's my thing. Jericho's always about retribution, man. Jericho's always Look at heel Jericho, man.
No, I know.
He always needed retribution. Jericho's always about, if you give me a punch in the face, I'm gonna kick you in the throat.
And you know what?
And if Wyatt goes over or something happens where they don't get a clean finish here, then he has to have another match. That's Jericho's mindset.
If there really is that instinct that Night of Champions is going to be the most important show of the year and not SummerSlam, and you want to throw the victory to Jericho at SummerSlam, then so be it, and they could do Jericho-Wyatt in that case.
Right.
But I just, the way I have to say, this influences my decision-making a lot. It's SummerSlam, it's the second biggest show of the year, supposed to be at least. It doesn't make sense to have Bray Wyatt lose at both WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
Well, this is my thing. I don't think we get a Chris Jericho clean win at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I think the reason we get a DQ tonight is because they're not going to
give win in the rule book.
That's exactly right. I don't think at what point in the last 3 years have they given you a reason to believe that Chris Jericho is going to win a match at a pay-per-view?
Yeah, no, it's true.
And why does he have to? He doesn't. For those that say we've seen him have, for Ed, I mean, you say we've seen him struggle with getting a pay-per-view win when he comes back. Why does he need to?
No, he doesn't. He
I don't
doesn't.
know. I still think he needs a win.
But
He wins on free TV.
do you
And
think
it couldn't be that much better, though.
If the logic goes, I mean, he's a legend. He doesn't have to. If the logic goes, the Wyatts can lose every pay-per-view match and never hold a title and still be monster characters because that's who they are on TV. Chris Jericho can win every free TV match ever and lose every pay-per-view match from here on in and put people over.
My concern is less about Jericho, though. My concern is more about just basically making sure that Wyatt still maintains, and he's got to have some pushback from whoever he's feuding against.
And the pushback comes after this whole schmoz and/or Wyatt pulls one over. Jericho's going to be coming back for revenge. That's what it is. Because see, I see it the complete opposite way. If Jericho wins, we're going to get 4 more weeks of Wyatt just attacking him out of left field with no real purpose other than Jericho beat him. Wyatt can't get beat clean on this pay-per-view.
Wyatt has never had a purpose at all for attacking anything.
I'm just saying. Well, I don't see. I mean, Cena just put him down.
For me, Jericho's the perfect guy to come in and steal a victory. Just because that code breaker literally can happen like that, and I don't know. And if I'm wrong, again, I said it earlier.
I agree.
I'm pretty sure all of my wrong picks have been with Wyatt matches. So maybe I just don't get him. I don't know.
My only thing is you see how the mentality has changed since Cena beat him. In casual fans at least, we heard boring chants on Monday night.
That was
casual fans are already saying Cena buried and killed Bray Wyatt's momentum. I don't think that he can afford this loss, and he doesn't have to. They can do a schmoz here, and then Wyatt goes over at the next 2 pay-per-views. I don't see Jericho having to lose.
But you agree with me. You agree with me in saying that Wyatt wins the next 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, Jericho does not have to win a match at all.
Yeah.
Jericho can lose every pay-per-view match from here until he quits completely and goes in the Hall of Fame. It's not going to matter. If he wins on SmackDown and on Raw, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. If he continues to do stick work on the microphone like he did on Monday night, if he continues to do highlight reels, doesn't matter. Does not matter. He is a legend, and it's not going to tarnish his career. It's not.
It'll just be interesting to see how they can stretch it through to Night of Champions.
We'll see. Well, it'll start tonight. We'll see tonight.
2 more.
Let's move on. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. The only person that doesn't have a definitive answer here, or picked an answer that just has no winner, is Will Benson, who says no contest here.
Is that 2 no contests for Will in one night?
Yeah, I do believe so. Yes. No contest here. And Frank Manzo.
Getting out of last place.
Frank Manzo and Brian Chichak, Alex. Frank Manzo and Brian Chichak both picked Dean Ambrose via pinfall. Now, our resident leader, Frank Manzo, thinks that Dean Ambrose is going over clean here. And I think differently. Chris Walter picked Seth Rollins via DQ, which means somebody's coming in to attack Ambrose, and he gets caught.
Seth Rollins via DQ?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That would mean.
Right. So Kane's going to come in and attack Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Something like that, where the Authority comes in and attacks Seth Rollins, because it says Seth Rollins via DQ is what Walter has down. Alex B. Song.
Why can't Ambrose just lose his what?
You can. I just don't think that's.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's going to happen. Even though it could. I mean, that'd be awesome. I would love to see that. This gets completely brutal and it just gets nasty. But everybody else has Seth Rollins via pinfall. I waffled back and forth through that. I had Dean Ambrose via DQ for a while, and went back and changed that before the show went live this evening. I really think that the main event booking, the finish of the pay-per-view, is why I'm picking this to end the way that it does. I think that this match is actually earlier in the evening, possibly one of the first 3 matches that takes place on the card. And I honestly believe that Seth Rollins is going to attempt to cash in later in the night. And with that being said, I think that the Authority, members, Seth Rollins, Kane, and Randy Orton, with Kane and Randy Orton teasing dissension and not trusting each other, as we saw, finishing moves get put on each guy this past Monday night. With them teasing dissension, it's important because they're gonna beat the crap out of each other during the match, and they're gonna just completely fall apart. And we may lose Kane for a while. We may not see Kane for a long time after this. He's not booked in on a lot of pay-per-view stuff coming up, at least from what we've seen. But you're going to see Kane and Dean Ambrose, or Kane and Randy Orton go at it during the main event. So for me, I need the authority to tease at the beginning of the show that they're still solid. They're still in cahoots. They're still there's no tension between them. They're good to go. And I think that happens during the Seth Rollins Dean Ambrose match. Dean Ambrose can own this match, be brutal. It's gonna be a great match either way. But I think Dean Ambrose runs this match. Looks like he's gonna win. Kane's fire hits. Out comes Kane. Dean Ambrose kind of gets a jump on Kane. Randy Orton comes in. The interference happens. Somehow the ref is down, doesn't see it. Curb stomp or something, and Seth Rollins gets the win. Seth Rollins looks strong going towards cashing in later on. The Authority looks strong, like they're still together. And, of course, during the main event, we'll go through that later. But they look strong going into the main event. That's my thought process. There's interference. It's definitely not a clean victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. And, John Alba, you picked Seth Rollins via pinfall. Do you have similar thoughts? Or
I just think Ambrose is going to be real close to victory, and Rollins is just going to somehow get away with it, whether it's with help or whether it's not. And it's more so not even much about Rollins, but more so about booking Ambrose just as the resilient fighter. Hey, you got me this one time, but I swear I'm winning this war. I'm winning this.
It helps later too, because if Rollins comes out to cash in, Ambrose comes in and screws it up again, and there you go.
And look, we should get at least one more of these matches. So.
Oh, we're getting two more. We're getting them all the way to Night Champions. Period. Patrick, you said Seth Rollins via pinfall. Why?
I just think, like you said before, Doug, I think it gives Rollins more credibility if he goes to cash in later. I just think that Ambrose going over really. I mean, I don't see them doing the same thing they've done in the past, where the Money in the Bank holder has to lose.
They did it last year.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that where, they're going to give a guy like Rollins who, they've been prominently featuring on TV in this big storyline, a losing streak like this, and then have him cash in out of nowhere and actually win the title. Not at least right now, within the next month. If this were 2 or 3 months down the line, I could say yeah, okay, but not right now.
Alex B. Song.
Yeah, it's all about the main event for me, which is why if I were booking this, I would love this to open the pay-per-view. You get the crowd hot right off the bat. Yep. Afterwards, you can have those little matches, like the Divas matches, that could probably just lower the steam a little bit. But I'd have that be the opening match, have Rollins either sneak away with the win at the end, and then we'll see Dean later in the night.
Okay, and that takes us to our main event, man. It does. Ed, do you have any thoughts on Ambrose?
Let's move
on. The main event, man. Fatal 4-Way, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Kane. And literally all of us except for Brian Chichak of the NB show picked John Cena to win via pinfall.
Will then pick no contest?
No, he did not. He picked John Cena via pinfall. Brian Chichak picked Randy Orton, and Brian's pick of Randy Orton is because of this rumor that is out that John Cena is dropping the title tonight. And the reason that the rumor is there is because John Cena is going off to film a movie and is not going to be on 2 of the Raws leading up to SummerSlam. The video promo that leaked out online did not say anything about the title being involved between John Cena and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And that's why people think maybe Randy Orton gets the belt tonight. There's also rumors that some WWE officials want to pull the trigger and let Roman Reigns be champion tonight. There's also rumors and 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 rumors about your mama. And I'm telling you that I don't think any of that's true. The money is with John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the title, and I don't see them getting rid of that yet and moving. I mean, you're going to move the title onto Randy Orton and have Randy Orton face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the title. It's not bad, but then Randy Orton continues being the champion afterwards because Roman Reigns is going to face Triple H at Night of Champions. And who goes after Randy Orton at that point? Kane? Because John Cena is still going to be working with Lesnar. Blue Tista's coming back, sure. Then they're going to finally put the title on Blue Tista because he's not going to get cheered when he comes back, whether he's facing Evolution members or not. So unless they throw Blue Tista in with Roman Reigns instantly,
He helps him, yeah.
as partners, if they do that, then you got face top level back with Batista, but that's it. If you don't do that, he's not getting it. But for me, honestly, one of those things where John Cena, Brock Lesnar for the title, I don't see how the whole Lesnar being Plan C makes sense if Cena doesn't retain the title. Because the whole point of having all these different plans is to take the title off of Cena. So there's no point in having Lesnar come out to be Plan C if John Cena doesn't have the title anymore.
Didn't Heyman say he has Plan C?
Yes, on Monday night. On Monday night. Or he didn't say Plan C, because I still think that even Lesnar is probably Plan B for real. And Heyman was just trolling. But that was the thing. You had Plan A is Randy Orton or Kane. You know, is Randy Orton in Randy Orton's mind. And Kane's supposed to help that happen in the Fatal 4-Way. When that fails, then Plan B is supposedly Seth Rollins coming to cash in with the Money in the Bank briefcase. When that fails, Paul Heyman told Triple H to call him because he has the foolproof plan. If that's the case, then why the heck would Lesnar need to be the foolproof plan to take the title off Cena if Cena doesn't have the title anymore?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I don't care. It's all the rumors that came out over the last few days was fodder and cover by the WWE themselves to make you try to doubt yourself and say, okay, well, maybe there's a chance John Cena doesn't leave with the title. You know what you do to write him off TV for the next couple weeks? Is you have Brock Lesnar come and attack him after the show is over. The last few minutes of the camera being on is Lesnar destroying Cena. That's how you write Cena off for the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
For me,
Not
there's
making sense,
to
Doug.
Cena Lesnar without the title.
Go ahead, John. Explain
And
why.
that's delayed again. We've seen Lesnar Cena already, and I get, we've seen Cena Orton. Okay, I get that. This is the marquee match. We've already seen Cena Lesnar, and moreover, the thing was, Lesnar lost to Cena. So, in theory, because they booked themselves in a hole with that, it doesn't give us that whole, can Cena overcome the odds again of facing the UFC champion? Now it has to be, Cena has to defend his title against the former UFC champion. That's your draw right there.
They are completely rehashing the booking of Rock and Cena with this. Rock and Cena 1 was once in a lifetime. The only way they redid it for the following year was for the title. And well, John, you just made my point. The fact is that we've seen Cena Lesnar before. It was an Extreme Rules match where Cena went over. The only way this gets bigger and better is if you put the title on the line. Cena has to retain tonight. That is the only way this program works in this short time frame between tonight and SummerSlam.
He has to retain. There's no way he's losing the title tonight.
The problem is that
I'm sorry, but you're Mark. Like stop. I'm not having these rumors about Roman Reigns getting the title tonight. I'm just not having it.
It's just not smart. It's not smart. And whether you're someone who believes that whether you believe that Roman Reigns' first championship should be at WrestleMania 31 or if it should be a little earlier than that, it's not now.
It's not now. The guy needs a lot of work on the microphone. I'll tell you that right now. I like the guy a lot. I really do. I like his in-ring work. I like the way he puts off his special moves. The Superman punch, the kick on the apron, the spear, everything. That's the best spear we've seen since Goldberg.
He works the crowd well.
The Edge and Batista spears are still some of the laziest things I've ever seen in my life, outside of the spear from off the top of the ladder. And one of those things where the guy does good work in the ring. It's timing and it's microphone work that he needs to work on. And like what we talked about before, John, it's really one of those things where why is Roman Reigns allowed to say bitch, ass, and damn in hell more than anybody else? Because they know that they want to build this guy up to be a monster face.
He's a badass.
And he can't he can't talk on the microphone very well. So what do? You make him speak in short sound bites that are badass with attitude.
Yeah.
Would you rather
that makes him, oh, the guys are behind him. The guys are going to root for him against Cena in a heartbeat. Why? Because he said he kicked Cena's ass.
Would you rather
it's wrestling, man.
get the Shield thing with just basically give the character a complete workover with the wardrobe and all that? Just, I mean, almost Ambrose-like, but not quite.
For the record, I don't know. I still think we get Rollins Reigns before we get a Reigns championship run.
I do too. I think Reigns. I think there's so much money in making Reigns better on the microphone, better in the ring over the next few months, and he's the guy that's tossed up the most people in a Royal Rumble. Give him a Royal Rumble win. Give him a Royal Rumble win.
I said a number of weeks ago, I said my bold prediction was that Reigns would have a one-on-one title match at TLC and win it. There's your 5-month timeline right there to get him better.
And by TLC, he might be ready. He might be.
Maybe. We will see. We will see. Starting here in about 10 minutes, the kickoff show goes live on the WWE Network. And, it's not free anymore, so it's not on YouTube or anything like that tonight. It's only on the WWE Network. So if you have the WWE Network, make sure you watch the kickoff show for some terrible matches and some preview, some awesome video packages, I'm sure, that will lead you into
maybe the power will go out at this Battleground too.
Maybe it will. Maybe
stop taking
it
away
will.
from my bold prediction.
Oh, I didn't say that.
So Battleground starts in 10 minutes. The kickoff show. We'll talk to you later on. Make sure you follow us at WrestleRumors. Thanks for joining us. We love doing this thing with you guys tonight. We do it every single Monday night before Raw. We do it before every single pay-per-view. Make sure you join us tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wrestling warm-up. Bringing you the best in preview predictions and talk and opinions and everything else. We just get on here and shoot the crap with you guys. We enjoy it. We thank you for joining us at WrestleRumors. I'm going to be live tweeting during the pay-per-view. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy wrestling. And don't forget Wrestle Reaction following the pay-per-view on WrestleReaction.net. Live reaction from Frank Manzo and Joe Omega. Make sure you watch it. We'll catch you later. Peace.